everyone, thanks for watching another video. For those of you returning, welcome back, thanks you, I like having you here. And for those of you who are new, welcome to my channel. I like things all creative. I'll do many projects throughout the year. At the minute it's junk journaling, but I like to take my hand to quite a few different crafts. So as those go on and progress, I shall share those with you all as well. So I'm just continuing on with the Traveller's Notebook junk journal insert that I started creating. This is the first proper Traveller's Notebook I've done. I did a Christmas one, which I sort of briefly showed you in the last video. So this is the first one that I've actually created this size, and I was really excited to try and do this, and it really kind of pushed me to branch out. I had this fear of making things a bit too simple. I like to go a bit OTT with things. If you've watched my Christmas junk journal flip through, you'll have probably got that impression by now. So I kind of tried to rein this in and keep it a bit plainer. You know, I didn't add as many embellishments, not a load of different pockets and what have you, because it is a Traveller's Notebook insert. So if you think I should add a load of pockets and embellishments and things, shout at me and I will do that. But in my opinion, if it's going to go inside a Traveller's Notebook and you're really going to be using it more functionally than memory keeping, so that's just how I visualise it anyway. But if you guys don't agree, you know, like I say, let me know and I will know to change that up and add more into it. So I'm adding a few embellishments, and I'll probably add more still. There's a little bit of a way to, well, not really a little bit of a way to go. I could really call it quits now with as far as I've gotten with it and make a few more. But I think, as I said, I like to go a bit OTT. So in my mind, it's not quite done, but it could well be. You could just stop it here and that would be that. So I hope you're all doing okay and you're not all like being struck down by weather and coronavirus and whatever else is going on in the world at present. We've got loads going on over here in the UK with coronavirus coming over. Schools have been closed relatively nearby because pupils, they did a ski trip, I think a couple of schools did ski trips over to Italy and the half term that we've just had, and therefore they're taking precautionary measures to detox all the schools, you know, deep clean all the schools and what have you. So it's a little bit crazy. Luckily I have two children at two different schools, one's primary, one's secondary, and luckily, touch wood, neither school has been affected, and hopefully it'll stay that way. I'm hoping the weather will change soon. Oh, got the tea. I'm hoping the weather will change soon and wipe out all the yucky viruses that seem to go around at this time of year. Yeah, so I hope you're all keeping safe and it's not affecting you where you are. So I'm going to add this envelope in. I'm going to create a little pocket out of it. So I'm just trimming some of the white bits on the edges to just get rid of all that. Looking back on it in hindsight, I should probably have stained it around the edges, but you know, I didn't. And I'm going to slot that in and I will sew that on a little bit later. I think I glue it down first and I'm going to sew it. I cast this aside when I originally created it, thinking I would use it somewhere in another journal in future. And because the project I was working on, I changed my mind how I wanted to create the envelope, so this was just floating around and therefore I've added it in here. I'm trying to literally do junk journaling, so I wanted to print some images off for these pages and add in some colour, but I've decided not to because I'm doing no spend for Lent, so of course ink and things I'm having to use a bit sparingly, especially when my yellow is nearly run out. So I am trying to refrain from doing things like that and literally just using things I've got laying around. I will add in some embellishments at a later date. I mean, I could call this one quits, but I'm going to add in a few embellishments. I've got a few pockets in here that I could probably fill with some bits. So I've got some book pages and whatnot that I'm going to get out, but I wanted to create something tonight. I started doing this video a few nights ago, and I'm just aware that it's been a little while since I uploaded, so I wanted to get a video out and just touch base with you all. And that is what this one's about. So I'm just using a few bits that I had laying around. So there's no real theme to the inside of this journal. There's no sort of colour scheme or anything going on. I'm just using a few bits that are floating around. So going on the no spend for Lent, I would like to do a shout out to Bev in Canada, who sent a message, or put a message on one of my videos saying that she'd happily send me some bits over, so I could get away with still getting some happy mail whilst doing no spend for Lent. So thank you very much, that's very kind of you, and I'll find a way to contact you. I feel old before my time when it comes to social media and things. I'm not very good at it at all. I need to be a bit more on it, and yeah, and then I can connect with all of you in more ways than just this one platform, and that would be awesome. So as I say, I'm creating some little pieces to go inside the traveller's notebook, and this is a printable that I had laying around, like an offcut from a different project, and that I downloaded a little while ago. So I'm just using it up here, create a nice little journaling card with that slot in the front. I did want to keep this relatively plain. I don't know if I've already said that in this video. I've done this voiceover like 20,000 times. I wanted to keep it relatively plain because, in my opinion, a traveller's notebook is something that you'd use a little more functionally, is that a word? Than just a regular, junk journal book, which you would obviously document, sort of scrapbook style, document things that go on in your lives and use it as more of a journal. So I wanted to keep it a little bit more plain. I'm thinking like lists can go in here, you can tuck receipts and things into the pockets, you can draw in a calendar maybe, which is why I've left some of the pages that fold out, because you can have more information. So I mean, that might not be the case, and if you do use a junk journal in a traveller's notebook, I'd be curious to know how you use it, and then I can tailor these to how somebody might actually want to use them. I've never done it. I did do a Christmas one last year, and in my mind that was, I mean, Christmas is more of a permanent thing for me, so like my Christmas card list is not really going to alter too much. If anything, I'm just going to add the odd name to it each year. On my present list, the people I buy presents for, again, the basic list isn't going to change. So my traveller's notebook for Christmas has those lists in it, and it has there are certain things that I buy every year, so that's kind of what I use that for. So I'm not entirely sure what I'd use a traveller's notebook insert for throughout the year, generally speaking. Maybe you can use it for a holiday, maybe you can use it literally for travelling and documenting your travels. So whatever the case may be, I'd be curious to know. I think this year, I mean, my Christmas journals are the only two proper junk journals I've ever done and used, and I just have such a love of making them that I've decided to start making journals this year. So it's completely new to me in terms of actually using a junk journal. So like I say, I'd be curious to know how you guys actually use them or want to use them, and then I can tailor them a bit better. I probably will start using a junk journal more this year. I mean, I have started doing journal with me's in my own personal junk journal, which again is new to me, because I do journal regularly, which is more of a thoughts and feelings, private things. It's not really decorated, it's not a very pretty thing to look at. It's just more myself venting, and it's more for mental health than for the purpose of making something look pretty. So I have made a conscious effort to junk journal, and I am going to make a new traveller's notebook, an A5 size one. I think I mentioned that in the last video. I've done a yellow one, and I fancy an olive green coloured one, so I'm going to do one of those when my no spend is up, and I can order some leather and some dye. And yeah, so I will make a junk journal insert for that for myself, and I will take it about with me and just see what happens. So I'm quite happy to explore the process for myself. But how I use a junk journal is not necessarily going to be how everyone in the world that junk journals uses their junk journal. So Again, I'd be curious to know what you do with yours, just out of pure interest and market research perhaps. So I'd be curious to know if any of you have any other ongoing projects. So is there anything else you'd like to do aside from junk journaling and aside from any paper craft? Perhaps you like felting, crocheting, drawing, perhaps painting. I'd really like to be better at painting. I'm not very good at painting. I can colour, I can draw, I can do all of that. I'm just not very good at painting. It doesn't come naturally to me. So I have been watching some videos to try and get better at that, but painting and drawing tends to I'm more inspired to do those in the summer because I can do that out and about. So I'll take the kids to the park and I'll let them play, and then I'll get my sketchbook out. I think I mentioned it in my previous video, in my traveller's notebook I will have a few inserts, a standard that I make myself as well. So I'll have a sketchbook insert, I'll have a writing insert, and I'll probably this year have a junk journal insert. So yeah, I like to have a sketchbook on hand for when the feeling kind of takes hold, when I fancy it. I love taking my little backpack to the park on my bike. I've got a little bike with a basket on the front and I take everything with me in that little basket. It's got all my sort of sketching and painting and whatever else supplies in it. I'm not very good at painting. I'd like to be better. I've got some watercolour pens that you put the water inside so I can take them out and about with me. So I'd love to just sit and paint or scribble something together. I'm not into realism or anything like that. I don't want it to be perfect, but I'll see these YouTubers, these artists that essentially put blobs of colour on a page, and then right at the very end it looks like this amazing waterfall scene or forest scene or something. When I put blobs on a page, it looks like blobs on a page. It doesn't come together at the end to look like anything that I'm trying to achieve. So that's my focus for this summer, I think. Yeah, but I'm trying to kind of get some more crafts, get some more skills under my belt. I love learning new things. That kind of gets me excited. I like to do something new and then look, sit back and look at it and think, I did that. So yeah, I'd be curious to know what you guys are all up to. Aside from journaling, obviously you're all into junk journaling, otherwise you wouldn't be watching these videos. So I'd be intrigued to know, and I'd also be intrigued to know how you use your other crafts in your junk journal. Well, I've done embroidery in one of my junk journals, and so obviously these different crafts can kind of intertwine with each other. So perhaps you're into felting, and maybe you've done a felted cover for your junk journal. I mean, that would be pretty cool, right? And I'd like to incorporate that a bit more as well, not just felting, but incorporate other things into my junk journal, like the embroidery. I've ordered some new threads, and I'm going to use this is all, I am doing no spend, I promise. This is all before I started the no spend for Lent, I promise. So I've got some new threads that I'm going to do some embroidery with, and I'm thinking of doing some like embroidered journal cards. Or I saw the other day, I don't know where I saw it actually, or the idea just came to me. I swear I'm on the verge of a breakdown half the time. I had the idea to do like some real sort of vintage style bookmarks, because that kind of screams to me junk journal stuff, because junk journaling is essentially bits and pieces that you would find, isn't it? Like lying around, or old things that are not really going to be used anymore that you kind of repurpose into a junk journal. And I'm thinking of, perhaps an old bookmark, and I'm going to cut it out, maybe put the little tassel on the top, and then create it into a tag, or literally just use it as a bookmark within the junk journal. So yeah, I've got all these ideas and things written down. It's just having 5 minutes to do them at the minute. I feel like I don't seem to have 5 minutes. The last couple of weeks have just been chaos. I'm not annotating what's actually going on in this video. This is not really a technical video. I don't feel that I'm teaching you anything by sharing this footage. My channel was set up originally to share what I'm doing, what I'm already doing. I'm not creating content for the purpose of sharing on YouTube. I'm creating content because this is what I'm making anyway, and I've learned a lot from YouTube and a lot from the YouTubers I watch, and I'm sharing what I'm doing, you know, just for the sole sake of sharing with the world what I love to do. So if I was doing anything particularly technical, then I would talk you through what I'm doing as best I can. But for the purpose of this video, I don't think that's actually necessary. I think you can all see what's happening here, and it's quite self-explanatory. So I'm going to put the signature in now, if you can call it a signature. Is it a signature if there's just one in the cover? I don't know. So I'm going to sew it all together, and I use the machine to sew it. Using the machine is my favourite way to add in any signatures. If you don't have a machine, of course you can sew this in by hand. I will do a video sewing. I will put another journal together soon, and I will do a video of different ways to attach signatures. There are so many different ways. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You do it however works for you. I have a sewing machine, and of course it's the easiest option because the machine does it for you. You really can't fail with it. I don't enjoy sewing signatures on by hand, although all my previous junk journals, like my Christmas ones I'm really referring to, have been sewn in by hand. I find that very faffy, very fiddly. But I will show you how I've done it eventually, just to give you another option, especially for those of you who don't have a machine. There are also, I have some rings that I originally ordered to set up. I can't remember why I ordered the rings actually. Why did I order the rings? I don't remember. Anyway, I've got some rings for some unknown reason. So I'm going to add in signatures with rings as well to show you how that can be done, because I think that looks quite cool. You can add ribbons and things to the rings to kind of disguise them a little bit, and I've seen somebody do it. I'm also going to do some junk journals that are not necessarily vintage. I'm going to do a couple of themed journals. I'm collecting some bits at the minute for a particular theme. Well, I'm not collecting them in a minute because I'm doing no spend for Lent, but I have got a little collection going on for a particular theme that I've always wanted to do, so that will be coming up as soon as I feel that I've got enough to be able to put a journal together. I like to go to tea. If you've seen my Christmas journals, then you know what I'm saying. It is going to be an OTT journal, because if I'm following a theme, I'm going to go crazy with it. So if you want to see those journals come together, the themed journals, please hit the subscribe button. I'm not sure when they'll come together. Like I say, I'm collecting bits, and when I feel that I've got enough that I can actually start putting the journals together, then I will begin. I'm really excited to do it, so I will be doing it ASAP. I think they're both fairly summery journals, but then I do like to create things that can be all-rounders. I don't like to create themes that are specific apart from Christmas. Because you don't just use a journal in 5 minutes. Generally speaking, you'll have them for a few months. So yeah, my journals I'm definitely going to aim to get them out before summer, which sounds like ages away, but it will go really quickly. I do like to go over the top on my themes. If you see my Christmas journals, you'll know what I'm saying. If you haven't, check them out. I'm really proud of those journals, I'm not going to lie. I'm really chuffed with how both of them turned out. My 2018, I just did a flip through. That was my first ever attempt. 2019, last year's, was my second attempt, which I filmed the December daily process. And yeah, and I'm really chuffed with how both of them turned out. So like I say, check them out if you haven't already, and it'll give you an idea of what is to come. I have done some pretty basic things since Christmas, having a bit of a wind down, just creating some basic journals, getting the feel for not doing a theme and for just creating non-specific journals, which I'm having a load of fun with. Yeah, I'm learning I'm learning as I'm going along as well. So yeah, stick with me and we can do this together, and it'll be fun, and we can give each other hints and tips, ideas, inspiration, all that jazz, which was the idea of doing YouTube in the first place. Thanks for being patient though so far. It is quite tricky to find time to come and sit up in my craft space, where I typically take some bits downstairs and do some things on the sofa, sitting with my son while he's watching the TV, my daughter, or listen to them read maybe, and just kind of doing like a task, a background task. At the minute I can't really do that because I know I'm conscious that I need to sit upstairs in my craft space so I can film what I'm doing. So I'll have a little play around with things downstairs, put some templates together, and then I come upstairs and I shall do some filming. So like I say, it's finding the time to go through that process and create content specifically for YouTube. So I've added this closure on. All I've done is saw me fold over a book page a couple of times. I just glued it down, then I punched some circles out, and I've attached the circles on with some brads, and I'm going to add a charm. So I'm just kind of fishing out some bits that I think will look nice dangling off that bit of wax thread. And I saw the keys, and originally I was going to use the charm and the keys as a Tim Holtz charm with a word on, and I was going to use that with the key, but I think I like how the key just looked on its own. So the key it's just attached on its own, and it just kind of gives the end of that thread something. You could add a bead, you can add a button, you can add all sorts. I just spotted the keys and thought, yeah, that'll work. So I'm just tying it on, and as I just said, it is waxed thread that I've used here. I have waxed thread. I don't remember why I got waxed thread actually. It's meant to be for leather work typically, but I've never used it for that. In fact, I think I've only ever used it to thread buttons with before now. So yeah, here it is on here. I think it looks nice, looks very organic, and it's just added that key on there nicely. So I like how that's come together, and that's completely off the cuff. I wasn't even going to do a closure for this TN insert, because generally speaking, if you've got a traveller's notebook, you've got elastic that goes around the whole thing, so you don't really specifically need a closure for the junk journal insert. But I've added this anyway. I just think it adds that nice little detail. Here, laying the flowers on, I was originally going to add these onto the outside, but the more I looked at it, the more it annoyed me, because I really like that fabric, and the placement of those flowers on the edge there, I just like how that looks on its own, so I wanted to leave them alone. So as I put these together, I thought, well, I'll use them somewhere, because it's not a waste not, and I've added a couple of little clusters to the inside. So I've got the butterfly out as well to have a little look at that on the front, thinking, oh, I'll embellish the front. I'll probably do one where I embellish the front. I'm thinking of adding some lace in and adding some just different textures like the metal and the hessian and the tea-dyed paper flowers, and just lots of different textures, lots of things going on. I like the look of that, so I think that will probably be my next project for a cover anyway. And on that I'd like to add some embroidery. I'd like to sew some beads and things on. So yeah, again, if I've said it previously in this video, if you want to see that, please hit the subscribe button. That will be coming soon. I have lots of ideas flowing at the minute. I seem to be quite inspired, so yeah, I'm creating lots of things, putting lots of ideas together at the minute, which is all fun and games, but the real fun starts when we actually get creating. Am I right? Actually putting these things together, which is where I'm in that's my happy place, essentially. There's no real technique going on here. I'm just adding on layers based on texture, size, colour, and this is where I'm playing around with the placement, thinking that I'll add them on the front or add some on the front, and then I changed my mind and thought, oh, I'll just add them inside then. Just add a nice little touch to the inside of the journal. So that's what I'm about to do here, and I've just added them in completely randomly inside the journal. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, and I'll be back again soon. I shall do some more fun things I think next time, because I'm kind of gearing up now to put a proper journal together with, or even a traveller's notebook with the lace and the bits and things hanging off, and maybe add some colour into my work. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Subscribe if you haven't already to be notified as to when a video is going to come out. I'm going to try and get a video uploaded regularly, so I do it on a specific day each week, or hopefully maybe 2 a week. I need to kind of get ahead of myself with recording footage if I want to achieve that, so bear with. For all those hanging in there, thank you, it's very much appreciated, and I'm happy to have you all here to share this with me. Take care guys, keep safe, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye!